Hello and welcome to the OverShadow ShadowCast with Thomas Anderson and Abigail Mott.
Hi everybody.
Tech Wizard. So what have you been playing?
Well, alongside you, I've been playing the Legendary Co-op.
We've been continuing our Halo Legendary Co-op playlist run.
Yes.
They really need to shorten the name. What did we do?
So we played, are they called levels? Levels?
Mission. You could call them levels,
I was trying to say like level or episode.
Level or mission.
Mission. We were playing mission 7 and 8.
Yes.
Which was the library.
And...
I can't remember what the other one is called. I'm really bad at names.
the library. And...
The library, as opposed to the honest berry.
Yes. And the...
It's a terrible joke. Mission 8. Well, the library was where it kind of just repeated itself repeated the areas, wasn't it? Because you said that this was actually quite annoying, the fact that it kept repeating itself.
Well, this is the second time you'd played that mission, and you quite liked it first time because you said that it gave you basically a chance to breathe while playing through the game.
Yes.
But what do you think now?
More intense when you play it with somebody else.
What do you mean?
Because you're not just concentrating on what you're doing, you have to be concentrating on what the other person's doing so you don't hit them.
But what do you think of the mission? Like the same corridor over and over again?
I still liked it because I quite like repetitive stuff like that, so it gives you a chance to actually learn what you're doing and understand what you're doing.
That's a point, yeah, that still works. Also, there
apart
is
from the
fact
point
that
where any time I died and you just said, just watch me and learn something. Just watch me, maybe you'll learn something. And I'm
I don't actually recall ever saying it that way. I did not say it that way.
Well, that's what it sounded like.
Right, well, you need to get your ears checked, because what I actually said was because you actually asked me, can you just die so we can try this again?
Yeah.
No, I'm still alive. I'm going to keep fighting. If you want something to do, watch me. That's what I said. You were asking
no,
me
you
to
didn't.
kill myself.
You said, watch me, maybe you'll learn something.
You were asking me to kill myself so you could have another go.
You did say, watch me, maybe you'll learn something.
Yes, because you were asking me to kill myself so you could get another go at it.
Yeah, and as a good friend, you would have done it.
No, it's the library. Every part of that mission is a repeat of the previous part. Also,
anywho,
you saw on the previous graphics, right? You can see why that would be much more mundane.
Yes, but I found a lot of that quite mundane in the old graphics.
Oh, exactly, yeah. It's very boring and repetitive.
Anywho. So what was Mission 8 was where we had to kind of escape the library, not the library, but the part afterwards.
Yeah.
And...
Tell us about Mission 8. Can you remember the name yet?
No.
Excellent.
Is it I was about to say A113, no, that's Pixar. A34 or something like that. There was an A in it. Was there?
No.
Or... Oh my god. Are you having an aneurysm?
Yeah.
There was definitely the numbers 3 and 4.
No, there wasn't. That's the mission before the library. It's 343 Guilty Spark.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of.
Yeah. What's the mission afterwards?
Shooty. Shooty, runny. Scary. Die. I would love it if somebody actually created a game and that was the name of a mission. Die. Shooty. Scary.
It's called 2 Betrayals.
Ah, right, okay. You were talking so much during it, I was just like, I don't know.
But it's written down, you can see it. It's written down.
Yeah, but I don't pay attention to that, I don't.
Okay. I can see why.
I've got the attention span of a goldfish.
Right.
Or a very hyperactive puppy.
Yeah, like that. Did you not, I don't think you shot me. I think the very start, after we went through the first door, I can't remember if you shot me or if you just happened to grenade me.
I think I just happened... No, I think I accidentally shot you.
Yeah, somehow with the plasma pistol, which makes no sense, because that's not supposed to be able to lock on to the good guys.
Yeah, because you said don't get rid of your weapons, don't get rid of your weapons, because we're going to try and do a run where we don't lose any weapons.
Yeah, there's
That's a
an
nightmare.
achievement for not swapping out your weapon, and that was just a nightmare. But what really annoyed me was that we got through it okay, but in the process of getting through it, all of the banshees in that area had been destroyed, and we
Yes.
needed a banshee to get to the next area.
Yeah,
So we
we were just stuck.
So we had to start the mission again because it had checkpointed after. So I don't know what. I think that's improved. I think if you ever need a vehicle, it pops one in if there doesn't happen to be one
Okay.
in the next games. But I don't know what. That's just bad because we got through that first part, which wasn't easy, and then bleh.
Blah.
It was
Blah,
very,
blah,
very-
blah. Everybody turned into a vampire.
I was very, very angry at that. So we had to start again, and that was when you chucked a grenade at me or shot me in the face or something.
Yeah.
Oh no, there was one other time you did throw a grenade at me. Because you aim, we hid behind this opening door, and you were supposed to. Well, first of all,
I remember now. Yes, yes.
your take one was hilarious because you crouched down. And this, I think, very much exemplifies why Mission 8 is good and Mission 7 isn't, because we haven't had anything to say about Mission 7 other than we finished it. But with Mission... you crouched down in front of the door, and I hit the button to open the door, but you hadn't put yourself in the right place, so you were just out in the middle of nowhere, crouched as the door opened. And all the bad guys could see you. But when you got in position next time and you chucked your grenade, we were on opposite sides of the door, and there's enemies on either, outside. So there was a couple of guys, as it were, next to me, but the door was in the way.
Yeah.
But the door doesn't block grenade blasts, so when you threw your grenade, it blew my shields and half my health off. Which it shouldn't have done because I was behind the door, but the door wasn't blocking the grenade blast.
Yeah, I remember that.
So I just suddenly went, boop,
City boy.
and so I couldn't help you, so you got killed while I was waiting for my shields to come back.
Yeah, I was just like running around going, I'm by myself, I don't know what to do. Even though I've played this game before.
Yeah, we haven't played it on Legendary, to be fair, but I think
I see, if I had played that on Legendary the first time through, like the first time ever playing it, I would have gone bored if it's so quickly, because I don't understand how I would have been able to do that on Legendary at all.
Yeah.
By myself. The first time playing it.
Yeah, I know. You've had so little progress that would have been no point. But there was one point where you lost your shields, so instead of ducking down behind the door, you tried to backtrack, and so when I suddenly needed help, you were like 150 meters away down a corridor, and where have you got? No! So I got killed, and then you immediately got killed.
Yes.
Because you were then running back to try, and then you got shot at, so then panicked and ran the other way again.
But it was fun. I find it better. There was a few times where you actually thanked me for helping you out. Like when somebody was something about to jump at you, I shot it.
Yeah.
Shotgun.
Yeah.
But did we still have trouble with weapons disappearing on us? I think the shotgun disappeared once or twice. I'm pretty sure.
No, I genuinely think the only trouble we had was in the game at the end where you have to fight the 2 tanks and the 2 hunters and the plethora of Covenant. And
Yes.
you got out a sniper and I got a rocket launcher. So you covered me while I tried to basically crawl up to the tanks.
Yeah.
Or crouch up to
And
the
you
tanks.
died a couple of times.
Yeah, but you were supposed to cover me, so that's sort of...
I did though. I did cover you. I took out a few elites and a few hunters.
Yeah, I know, when it worked. But there were times when I died, it was much more along the lines of, right, I'm going to take a shot, you need to cover me. And then all you heard was, twang, 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 damn. I've missed. And then I'm standing there with a rocket and like 96 Covenant running at me, and I'm like, because on Legendary it takes 2 or 3 rockets to take the tank down.
But I think I'm genuinely better with the sniper than anything else.
Yeah, but that just means you need to improve on everything else.
Yeah. I'm good with the shotgun though.
Mm-hmm.
Anything that's not close range.
A shotgun is close range.
I never thought of it as close range.
What?
I never thought of it as close range.
A shotgun?
Mm.
Actually, are you joking me?
Mm.
It's the shortest range.
Is it? Why do I have so much trouble then with, say, the pistol then?
Because a shotgun has a massive area, like a cone of effect. Yeah, so
like a
it's,
microphone.
because of that massive cone of effect, that's a very short range. Was a pistol sniper very long range? You have to get that tiny reticle right on the enemy. Yeah, I would say that's one of the things you have to work on, is being better with the more accurate precision weapons, because they become more relevant as the games progress.
We could play the entire thing again where I don't use a snipe, where I just use more precision.
Well, the reason that you're okay with the sniper
Persistent.
is because you're so far
Persistent
away.
weapons.
You're so far away that when they dodge out the way, you can just wait and then go pick them off. That's why. But you can't snapshot, for instance.
I
Or
can't
no
what?
scope. Which you just turn around and go blam without a scope up.
Yeah, I find that very difficult.
Yeah. So so maybe playing through it again.
I also find it very difficult to come out of the zoom quite quickly.
Aye, that is a bit annoying.
That we've experienced and the
Because you actually were, oh my god, I can't see him! It's like, I'm sure when you get shot, you come out of the zoom. So what is going on here? So yeah, we got that bit was difficult, but we did get through it. But
And
you
then
hit
you
the
started
rocket
and
launcher. I tried to give you a rocket launcher and you just blew yourself up like the first shot.
yeah, I do that a lot with the
Yeah.
rocket launcher.
We
That's why I
need-
don't really use them.
We need to work on that because the rocket launcher is extremely useful. You have to be
No,
able
I
to
understand.
carry
I
it.
understand it's very useful. I just blow myself up with it.
Yeah, so you need to get better at that.
Yes.
Um,
Sorry. Yes.
I'd say for Halo 2, the pistol is totally irrelevant. They nerf.
Am
the
I? Are you gonna allow me to play it after?
Oh, you can play it whenever you want. I'm just not going to.
You
play
said
it with
I couldn't play it until we finish this one.
Oh yeah. We have to be done with this one first.
Yeah. So does that mean that I could play it afterwards then?
When we're done with this one,
Yeah.
yes.
Good. Why are you staring at me like I'm an odd person?
Because you seem to be fighting me about something you agreed with. Mission 7, Neil, as I said, the only thing I can think of from Mission 7 that was interesting was when we had to jump over those
Yes.
outcroppings
Yeah.
and you were terrified of falling off and losing your guns.
Yeah.
So you have to be very, very close to the edge to jump over these.
Like unnervingly close. Sorry.
Yeah, and you kept instinctively pulling away from the edge when you would jump.
The seagulls are laughing at me.
Yeah. So it's sort of like you can imagine a long distance jumper running up to do the long jump, right? Not the
Just,
triple
like,
jump, but the
running away.
long jump. But running up, getting to the board and then jumping off at a 90-degree angle. They don't have as much... Well, they'd probably break their ankle, maybe slightly less than 90. But they wouldn't have as much distance on it.
Yeah.
And that's what you were doing. Because you were jumping to the right, you were getting the height, but the thing you were trying to jump over was higher on the right, so you couldn't get over it.
Yeah.
So I had to tell, look, just watch me and then do exactly what I do and just shut your eyes, if whatever, just do it. I think you did get it. You eventually realised you would be fine doing it, and you were fine.
Yeah.
But that was funny to watch that.
I thought you just sounded like yet again you were getting very angry at me.
I don't mind it when you can't do it, but what terrifies me is when you're just like, I'm not even trying that. No, yes you are. I have a rocket launcher, I'm going to shoot you in the face if you don't try it.
See, he threatens me. You threatened me.
Yes.
Those tactics won't always work.
So we've only got one session left.
I know. It's
That
sad
was,
though, but I'm gonna miss it.
That was, well, we can just replay it.
Again and again.
Oh God.
And again and
Oh, God.
again.
Oh God.
But
Oh,
what
yeah.
we could do is we could do those versus missions. What are they called?
Oh, right. So this was the penultimate playlist session. So we've got the ultimate one left. This coming, is it like Wednesday? But once we only ever do 2 missions. So once we're done Abigail's, sometimes like, oh, I still want to play.
I don't say it like that.
Oh, so I still want to play. And sometimes I want to play, and I say, I still want to play.
Sometimes you'll just start one and not even I just like get an invitation. It's like, oh, okay, we're gonna continue. That's cool.
Yeah. So we sometimes play a custom match.
So that's one where you can choose your map and you can choose the weapons that you use.
You can choose everything. You make the game. It's custom.
Yeah.
It's not you haven't made it, the map. You haven't made it, but
No,
you can
but you
make
can
the game type.
customize it to your
Yeah.
own specifications. Desires.
Specifications, not specifications.
I said specifications.
It's being recorded.
Specifications. Am I
Well,
saying it right? Specifications.
Yeah, you are this time, but you said specifications.
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 You know when you say a word over and over again so many times you don't know if you're saying it right anymore?
Special occasions? Youm.
As he tried to... He tried to get me to say Youm as an actual word, like whom. And I looked at him and he was like, no, it's Youm. And I just looked at him and I was like, what's wrong? Are you having a stroke?
Youm. Are Youm having a stroke? So we tried a couple of different things.
It didn't work. I didn't actually say it.
We tried a couple of different things, didn't we? We tried just a normal... We tried a race, which was just weird. And we tried a normal... versus match.
Yes.
Which ended 14-1 and you just asked me to stop.
No, I just remember like the first time we ever did this, I had no idea what we were supposed to do. And I turned around and I just shot you and then I got a point. I was like, oh, okay, that's what we're supposed to be doing. Because the map kept spawning us right next to each other.
Yeah. No, but this wasn't that time. That was like...
I know, but I'm
months or
just
two ago.
saying.
Yeah. But I genuinely didn't realise that you needed to be told how multiplayer worked.
So I never played it before.
Yeah, so I genuinely didn't realise that. That's why I didn't tell you. But yeah, you still only got one kill, not point.
And that one.
Yeah. And...
Tell me what happened when it came to the sniper.
Well, when we then played the normal multiplayer match last week, I got 14-1 and you were just like, please stop.
I got really angry because you it felt like you weren't even giving me a chance.
No, I decided to go reasonably all out and I just annihilated you.
What happened this time, Tommy?
So then
I didn't
what we played some custom match Sniper Slayer. So you just spawn in with a pistol and a sniper and it's the only weapons on the map. And we played it on Battle Creek first time round.
Was that the bigger one?
That was a really big one.
That's the really big one.
And that had warthogs on it. And that was pretty close. I think that finished 15...
10 or something.
9, 15-8, 15-9, 15-10, something like that.
Yeah.
And then the next one, we couldn't...
Yes, first to 15.
Yeah, and the next one we played it again on Blood Gulch, and we couldn't finish it.
Much smaller map.
Yeah, much smaller, no vehicles. Now we couldn't finish, but there were...
There was a vehicle.
No.
I'm pretty sure there was a vehicle.
No. I mean, both of them had overshields and camouflage, but there was no vehicle.
There was the invisibility.
Yeah, but there's no vehicle. Vehicle's the
there
really
was.
tiny one. There's no way to get a vehicle in that.
I'm pretty sure there was one that was flipped over. Maybe it was just part of the design of the map. That
There's no vehicle.
Okay.
And we couldn't finish that one. We had to go away when the score was
12-10 to you.
12-10, yeah. But the best thing about it for me was that at one point you looked at the score and it was 12-8. And you said, oh, I'm 4 behind. At one point I was only 2 behind. And I had to point out to you that actually you hadn't been 2 behind. At one point you had been 2 ahead.
Yeah. That just made me even more sad.
Yeah, actually it turns out you hadn't been. You had been 3 ahead.
No!
It was 8-5 and I brought it to 12-8.
I'm so sad now.
So yeah, I got 7 kills in a row.
Yeah, because at one point I didn't understand that the invisibility shield did not actually technically make you invisible. It gave you a shiny outline.
Yeah.
But I did get some good kills though.
Well, at one point, I think the last kill you got of me before I went on my 7-kill run, you were invisible. It's just you went so high, I couldn't see the shiny outline against the sky.
I still got a good kill though.
That's what I'm saying. So when I went running up the...
Or there was that... Yeah.
sort of bridge of stone that you were at the top of. I couldn't see you, and you just went twam.
But there was that one where I genuinely started to panic because I was invisible. I thought you could see me, and obviously you did, and you were standing right next to me, and obviously you didn't actually see me. So I quickly took out my pistol. I just whacked you in the back. I was like, "Oh my god, I can't believe that worked!" And I ran away.
Yeah,
there was one point. There was one point.
I ended up standing next to you by mistake. I didn't know you were there. You just went bang.
Or there was one point where I got you, and then as you were spawning back in, you said, "Do you run away every time you kill me?" And I was like, "Yeah." And you're like, "Oh, that's actually a good idea."
Well,
that's well
just
done.
to clarify, yeah, I do that. Usually, I'll maybe take a couple of shots and then relocate. I just wanted to point out to you that was a good idea to do that.
Yeah. I was just like, I felt quite insulted. You didn't think I would be actually have the nuance to actually do that.
Well, you didn't understand that in a multiplayer game you're trying to kill me, so I thought
the first time we played it.
Yeah, so I thought I would give you a pat in the back for relocating after every shot.
Yeah. But there was like, every time that I ever lost sight of you, I got really scared.
Oh yeah, you did. You kept bang. Oh my god, I can't see you. Where are you? Where are you? Where are you? Tom. Oh.
And I just kept swearing the entire time.
There was one funny point where you
every time you killed me, I swore.
Yeah, and that was you just kept swearing at me whenever you died. It was bad. I don't know anybody that did that, but it was when we were. You killed me and then I spawned in and I ran to where you were as you were relocating, so I ended up behind you. And you were, we're going to see you, where are you, where are you, where are you? And I was standing right behind you for about 20 seconds. And you just kept looking around all over the place. I can't see you, I can't see you. And then I just went, hee, boom, and killed you. And then ran away. And then obviously you went, and swore at me.
I did apologise for swearing so much.
Yeah. But
I didn't actually realise I was doing that.
Every single time. Also, it was.
And then when I realised what I was doing, I did stop. But I was just like, me.
No, you didn't. You just kept doing it. But what it did was whenever you died, you also went, no, no. You were winning at that point. I don't know exactly what it was you wanted.
To win the entire thing.
No, but just this whole, I'm never going to die. I'm going to be so upset every time I die, no matter what.
I think it's just because I know that you're so good, and I just get sad.
You'll get there, but you have to actually give it time. You're not just going to be the,
So I think that's probably enough of what we've been playing, because that's like half an hour we've been talking about that.
Well, actually, I need to talk about a game I recently started.
What did you recently start?
Crackdown 3.
What is Crackdown 3? What is Crackdown?
Well, I never played the first two. I've seen some of the first one played. I think was it the first one that got quite good sales, because if you bought it, it came with the Halo 2 beta. Beta.
No, let's not do that again.
So you could play I think it might be in a Halo 2 multiplayer.
What's Crackdown 3? What is it? What do you do?
I think that's why it sold quite well. 2, I don't think it was quite as well received, because it's very similar to the first one. And that's something to pay attention to while I discuss Crackdown 3. What was your question? Sorry, you want me to know what Crackdown 3 was? What's your question?
What's Crackdown 3?
Right, so Crackdown 3 is a video game. Can you stop punching me? Ask me questions. This is assault in the workplace. She's making this a hostile work environment. Help.
What is Crackdown 3? What do you do in it?
So the premise seems to be that the world's gone through these blackouts where major cities have blacked out essentially and don't have any power. And as a result, the inhabitants of these cities have gone on forced marches to try and find a safe haven.
Okay.
They are referred to as refugees, which I think is quite apt. And this company, Terra Nova Corps, has built a Terra Nova, which would logically be New Earth, has built a city on an island in the middle of a sea, obviously, which is, they market it as being like a safe haven. Come here, come to Terra Nova, we'll look after you. But it's not that nice.
No.
It's like a ruse. So all the refugees land in this slum area and then the useful ones get picked and taken to the city and used as a workforce. And you can rise through the ranks, but it's like a corporate, it's like Total Recall or Running Man.
Great, I've never played those, but okay.
They're movies.
No. Never seen those.
It's a dystopian future where everything's massively pro-capitalist.
I hate dystopian
It's
future.
massively pro-capitalist, so human beings are worth money essentially. And the agency is the global police task force sent in to try and stop this, because it turns out that Terra Nova also actually did all the blackouts, I think.
So they caused the blackout and then they sort of reap the benefits from all the chaos that it causes.
Yes, that's why they're the only city that's fine. So the agency gets sent in as task force to stop it. It's led by Terry Crews, who's called like...
Is this a character Terry Crews actually played, or is it just somebody that looks like Terry Crews?
It's his face and voice.
Oh, so
I
it's
think
his
called
actual character.
It's
like
something Jackson, spelt with a Jaxxon. Anyway, I can't remember his first name. And you can choose between 6 starting agents.
Oh yes, I remember you talking to me about this now. Yeah.
Yeah, so the way the start is set up, you could conceivably be any of them. It's obviously set up with Terry Crews as the primary choice, but you could conceivably be any of the people there, so I thought it was done quite intelligently.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I was looking through them. I've just got Terry Crews, because he's the person on the box. That's what I've been looking forward to. Terry Crews Simulator 2019. Now just play what's on the box. But I went through the characters anyway, just to double check, and it's all police peoples from different countries.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a French guy there, a Brazilian woman there, and I found an English person who is from Manchester. I thought that's kind of typical, because they said UK police force. This sort of isn't one.
Yeah, there's no
So
such thing. It's like
I got a wee bit. Typical. Yeah, forget we're here. Beep 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 beep. And then the last character I looked at was called Chapman from Glasgow, and I thought, yes. So I thought, right, I'm definitely going Chapman then. So during the tutorial, I basically had to pause it straight away to try and sort out my headcanon for why I was this woman and not Terry Crews. But then once I worked it out, I was fine and I moved on. And she does occasionally say, there's not a very large speaking role for your character, to be honest, but she does occasionally say the odd line here or there if something happens, like ooh, or phrases to that effect.
Does she ever? Do they use Scots? I was going to say Scots slang because that's what I call it, but that's probably not what it's called.
No.
Colloquialisms.
No, it's not colloquialism because it's a language. But
do they use
it's a
it?
colloquialism in a language.
Well,
but it's
do
not.
they use them?
No, it's basically just, ow, that hurt.
So just typical
It's just in Glaswegian,
just
if you-
typical English, but with a Glaswegian accent.
Except that's not a Glaswegian accent.
It's a bog standard Scottish,
It's a
American Scottish accent.
It's actually better than that. It's not an American Scottish accent, but I would say that it's a Highlands one. You know how Scotty's supposed to be from Linlithgow?
Yeah.
So he'd sound like me.
Yeah.
But he actually sounds like he's from kind of like Aberdeen, maybe via a different universe, but he's sort of Aberdeenish. Well, that's exactly what this is like. It's the same sort of thing.
Talking about accents, I remember when we were doing first aid training back in secondary school, and the guy that they brought in said, "Bearing a spare pair of trousers, was you going to be on the flare?" And we all looked at each other and we were like, "What did he just say?" And he's like, "Oh, do you not say that in Lithgow? Flare?" He pointed to the floor, and we're like, "No, we say floor."
Is he from the Highlands and Islands and stuff?
I don't know where he was from.
Because they
Flare. I thought it meant like flowers. I was like, why are we going to be in flowers?
Yeah, the people from the Highlands and Islands, they say their O's a little bit differently, and their R's as well.
There's somebody that works on television. She's got a lovely accent, but it sounded a bit Scandinavian. But she's from, I think she was like from the Shetland Islands or the Orkney Islands or something like that.
Shetland, probably, because
it's a lovely accent.
Shetland.
I wish I had that accent.
The people from Shetland think they're Danish. I mean, personally, that's a bit of a that's a bit of a disease.
I found out last night that the Vikings invaded on the west coast.
Aye, because they hit Ireland first. You can't really land on the east coast.
But I thought that they would have gone to the east coast and gone that way.
Where do you land?
I don't know. I don't know.
Neither did they.
I don't know where to land on the west coast or in the north coast.
The west, there's no north coast. The west coast is essentially a lot flatter. The east coast, a lot of it is sheer drops.
Well, I didn't know that.
There's nowhere for them to land.
Well, I didn't know that.
So they had to go round the other side.
Now I know something. Thank you for informing me.
They actually hit Ireland first. Technically, they were more successful at invading Britain than the Romans. I think they tried to set up
The Romans never got to Scotland, didn't they? It was Hadrian's Wall.
They did, but they panicked and ran away. Like, they were up about as high as the Central Belt,
yeah.
And then this wee sliver that went all the way up to Aberdeen. There was basically...
They never invaded Ireland, though, did they?
No, that's what I'm saying. They never got Ireland. I don't know at what point they realised it was even there.
They did leave some lovely architecture, though, and some lovely fruit trees and foods and animals.
But my point is that they could see England from France, right?
Yes.
But at what point did they realise Ireland was there? Because I don't think you can see.
When they got to England, maybe they could see Ireland.
No, I don't think you can.
I've never tried.
Because it's 20 miles is the closest point between England and France, and that's when you can see them. Maybe. But even then, I'm not convinced. But how would they have found out Ireland was there? Because they named it Hibernia. They knew it was there. But how?
Maybe somebody told them.
Maybe they found an Irish person in Britain.
Quite possibly.
Yeah. Because the Irish used to invade Britain. Well, raid it. They were like Vikings from the west. What was I talking about before you really... Oh, yes. So, it's an accent. It's an accent. It comes out like, oh, ow, ooh, ah, oh, I could use that ammunition. You know, like, but a woman, obviously. And I
attempt
like
that accent, but I can't.
And she's got, like, pink hair.
Oh, that's cool.
Sort of like... kind of similar to what you had, but actually shaved right down on one side.
Yes.
And like bright luminous
and didn't cry for like 2 weeks afterwards after realising what she'd done. It's like, I've cut off all my hair.
Yeah. So premise aside, you're there to basically just take apart this company so that you can free the people and stop their evil dominion, blah, 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 right?
Yeah.
So the way you play the game is you can run around and jump up and down.
Okay.
That's the very first thing you do if you play a Crackdown game, because...
Run around and jump up and down?
Yeah, because there's 5 key skills in this game. There's firearms, acrobatics, I think it's strength it's called, explosives, and driving.
Right.
Now, acrobatics you level up by finding acrobatics orbs, so you get to jump up onto buildings. Then what harder to get, the whole idea is that as you get these, you level up from rank 0 to 5 and you unlock abilities as you go.
Yeah.
So the idea is that you can only get all the orbs once you've got enough to level up to get an ability that then helps you get the rest. So the whole idea is that you gain experience by doing it.
Yeah.
So it's not just in like in a video game where like Morrowind, where you could just tap the space bar for the first hour and you'd be like level 56 in acrobatics, right? You have to actually be good with the game to get to the orbs.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get abilities that allow you to get to the next. So you actually do get better in more ways than one. When it comes to the other 3 abilities that I mentioned, or 3 of the other abilities, sorry, explosives, firearms and strength, you just kill people, defeat enemies using those abilities. So if you chuck a grenade or something explosive, you get explosives, XP. If you fire weapons at them, you get firearms. And if you throw something or punch them, you get strength, XP. And the driving is you just drive around. Now, it's not as simple as that. You don't just get it for driving. You have to do tricks, as it were. So there's races that you can do, which are just time trials. you get so much XP based on what position you finish.
Mm-hmm.
There's little stunts you can do where you can jump your car through these big giant circles in the air with steering wheels, and you can skid around corners. And I think you can actually jump off stuff as well, smaller things, and it'll give you some XP as well.
Mm-hmm.
You get XP at quite a fast rate for all of them. I think I'm level 2 or 3 with everything by now. Out of 5, I think is where it caps. So you rocket along fairly nicely, constantly getting new abilities. And so I've unlocked this sort of like double jump and a dash and a ground pound.
Ground pound?
Yeah, there's a ground pound where if you drop, and the greater the height, the more damage you do, and you press B, you just fall straight down and smash into the ground. Blah, 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 blah.
Is it like what's it called, like a hero jump? Or jump like hero, like in movies where they jump off a building or something like that, and they...
Aye, that's exactly right. They pound into the ground,
Yeah.
and they punch into the ground, but that combines well with acrobatics, because the higher you can jump, the higher you are to then pound and do more damage.
Yeah.
So it comes together quite nicely in a lot of ways. The shooting's very simple. You can carry 3 weapons, primary, secondary, and alternate.
Mm-hmm.
Press Y to change between primary and secondary, hold Y to pick up the alternate, to switch to the alternate. Pretty simplistic stuff. There's lots of different weapons. I like the variation in weapons, and the vehicles are sort of only there if you're trying to get from like one end of the map to the other, and that's it.
Yeah.
You're not really there for short travel. That's what the jump is for. It's not quite as manoeuvrable as something like Sunset Overdrive, because you can't bounce off things and you can't grind, so you're not moving anywhere near as fast.
Mm-hmm.
But you are moving reasonably fast because you do have a really high jump because of the suit you're wearing gives you these abilities. You also don't seem to take fall damage, or if you do, it's a very small amount. So you can try going up a building and then fall, and then you're okay. You just have to retry the building. There's lots of different things that you can do. So you can like free political prisoners, you can attack weapons depots or vehicle depots, you can take over propaganda towers. There's lots of different things to do. Some of which are more, I think it's to destabilize. So each of the enemy's bosses has certain things they control. So logistics has, he's the commander.
Yeah.
For the person who's in charge. So he's like commander rank, lieutenant commander.
Right.
And below him he's got lieutenants. So this particular person has 2, which is one in charge of the monorail system and one which was in charge of the slum area, letting in the refugees that were useful. So you take out the 2 lieutenants to expose the commander, and then you take out the commander, and once you've taken out all 3 commanders, which each have 2 lieutenants, you can then take out the captain, as it were, which is the woman in charge of the company.
Alright.
You can also find DNA around, which allows you to clone new agents, and you can change agent whenever you want.
Yeah.
So you can clone their body and use that instead. But I'm obviously quite happy with Chapman, unless I find somebody from Linlithgow for some reason.
Just you. Just
me.
You just scanned yourself into the game. Somebody, one of the developers is obsessed with you, has been following you around.
Yeah. I've been wondering if possibly the game was made by people in Britain, because...
Oh my god, I thought for a second you were going to think, I think somebody's actually been following me around.
No, because there's certain things in it which you wouldn't know if you were an American. But the point is, that's what makes me think that... Because there's certain UK references you would only get if you... I don't think the Americans would make these. I think it might be more likely to be a UK or even European company, maybe even Canadian, but I just don't necessarily think... Not necessarily, it could be, but there's an influence in there which I can't pin as American. So there's lots of different things that you can do. Like I said, there's races, those are on foot and in cars. You don't seem to ever be competing, it's time trial, but that's okay because there's still traffic.
Yeah.
And when you hit another car in a car, it just disappears. The thing just launches away. So if you had like 8 people rocketing around, it would be insane. I think it also keeps the game quite small, because the game's like 15 gigs, which is quite small. When you take into account most games are getting towards 100.
Yeah.
And it loads, it's got a huge load time. But see, once it loads, it's very rarely loading again. So once it loads up the map, it's kind of it. There's not very many load screens after that, which is quite good. You know, that's quite okay, because you can just hit load and then walk off and do something for a minute and then come back. Or just prepare yourself for having pink hair. Each of the individual enemies that you fight is actually kind of easy to kill. I gave the control to Brian for 5 minutes yesterday, and he killed like a little area mini boss quite easily.
Right.
You just have to keep moving and keep shooting and throwing grenades and stuff. It's a game you can play if you're tired. Just be happy to die. I've got it on the hardest difficulty. That's what I would recommend, because this game must be way too easy on anything less than that. It just seems to be a game for you to faff around in, really.
Oh, that's good.
But the issue that I've got here when it comes to saying what I think about it, well, the driving was terrible, right? Sorry, this is another point. Driving was terrible to start with when you were level 0. So when I got up to level 2, that was when I gave Brian the controller and said, try a driving. He said, yeah, the driving's alright. It's not great, but it's alright. And I tried it myself, and it is better. And I think there might be some improvement in how well the cars handle as you increase in level with the driving experience, because when I first got in a car, it was just incredibly difficult to use. So I think that it does actually improve that as you go. I think weapons get more accurate as well as doing more damage, because as numbers pop out when you fire weapons and you can see them increase. I went from level 0 to 1 and it did much more damage. So I think that it does actually change as you level up.
Yeah.
So that's good. It's not just unlocking new abilities, you actually do more damage, you actually jump higher, you actually drive better and faster. And that's kind of interesting, because I'm only on level 2 for driving, and my personal car can do 140 miles an hour. So I'm kind of wondering how fast that thing's going to go by level 5. Because you do have
fast.
You unlock it at level 1 for driving, you end up with your own personal agency vehicle.
Yeah.
Which you can summon in basically whenever you want. And it has 4 different forms. So the first one is speed, the second one has a jump, and I haven't unlocked the other 2 yet. And as I said, the weapons are very variable, but I haven't found a good long range weapon, because there was one weapon which is like a beam sniper rifle, which I kept getting owned by, because in the first major boss battle I kept getting killed because I wasn't used to the game yet. And this thing kept absolutely destroying me, and then I picked it up to use it, and it's terrible. It's absolutely terrible.
That's not good.
So I don't know how that thing was killing me. So you've got to really experiment with the weapons to try and find the ones you like. And if you like the weapon and it doesn't do damage, just drop it and pick up another one. You're just going to have to just live with it. Every time you get in a new vehicle, it gets scanned and added to your garage. Every time you pick up a new weapon, it gets scanned and added to your supplies, so you can quickly get whatever you want.
Yeah.
And the game lets you zip around a lot, because I think you can quick travel to supply drops and safe houses and stuff like that you've unlocked.
Well, that's good.
And the map shows you everything you can pick up. There are green orbs for acrobatics and agility, and there are blue orbs which give you some amount of XP for all the 5 abilities, but they're secret. They're secret hidden ones. So it's kind of difficult. I'm hoping that it eventually gives you, once you've got so many of them, or once you get to a certain level, or you can find something that tells you where they all are, because I want to pick them all up, but I don't know if it will. It does give you as an area by area breakdown of the unlockables, the collectibles in each area, so that might be helpful. But I think the last thing that I've got to say is that I am really having fun with it, but I didn't play the first 2, and I haven't played very much of this, so I genuinely don't know if this game will just be really tedious by the end, or if you've played the previous games, if it will just be annoying. Because it will be very similar to those.
Yeah.
So I don't really know how well this game will function.
Well, I suppose there's only one way to find out.
Yeah, but I haven't played the others, so I don't know how heavily I can recommend this game.
Well, a game can be good on its own.
Yeah, but if it's very similar to the others, then it'll just feel like a repetition.
Right, okay, I see what you're talking about.
So
if they've already got the first 2.
Yeah, so or even just played them. So I'm not going to say anything about this until I've finished it. And then I can say, because if I got bored, having never played a Crackdown, if you've played Crackdowns before, you probably will get bored. So I'm not going to recommend or say anything like that until I have finished it myself, because I genuinely don't know how it will handle in the long run. But I've really liked the game's mechanics. I mean, there's one mechanic which is good, which if you lose your shield, if you throw explosives or go and punch people, I think you get shield back. Definitely with explosives. So it rewards you for doing really crazy boom boom stuff.
Should we move on to the news?
We've got 2 pieces of news. We've got one here, which is sort of a Bethesda story.
As long as it's just one.
So news from Bethesda,
Yeah.
Elder Scrolls 6 and Starfield are not going to be at this upcoming E3.
How come?
They are apparently quite a long way away, quite long a way off, and will quite probably be for the next generations of consoles.
So it's just that's going to be like for the new PlayStation that's going to be coming out, and then the next Xbox coming out,
Aye, it's not likely to be
or
for
even
this
or even the Google that's coming out.
Stadia. I doubt for that, it won't have the power. But yeah, so that's what's happening with those. That's kind of a good thing because it means they're taking their time with them.
Yeah.
Also kind of a bad thing because it means they're going to be investing in 76 because that's their big game right now.
Yeah.
But maybe
I've still not played that yet.
Good, but maybe they'll focus on some of the other non-massive titles like Doom Eternal is a massive title, but maybe that'll get some focus because it's not a typical. If you said Bethesda, you would think Elder Scrolls and you would think Fallout. There's a side adjunct to this. Do you remember a woman called Shirley Curry?
No.
She was the 80-odd-year-old Skyrim Let's Player.
Okay.
She's in her 80s, and she previously said that she wouldn't get to see or play the Elder Scrolls 6 because of her age.
Right.
Because it's not due to be out till she's like 88.
Mhm.
As a result, there was a petition to get her added to the game as an NPC.
Oh, that's cool.
Right. Well, Bethesda has added her to the game. Bethesda have shown some character modelling shots, and they are of her getting her face scanned and the resultant character model from the face scans.
Mhm.
So that's interesting because it means they are actually using face scan technology. You know, the what's it called? Live action technology.
Yeah. Like what they do for the movies.
Well, maybe they won't be using live action. Maybe just face scanning.
Did you have like loads of little dots all over her face?
No.
Oh.
That's why I think it might not be actual motion capture. It might just be face scanning.
Yeah.
But I don't think they've done that with previous games. Definitely not with Morrowind or Oblivion. There's no way. But they might have done it with Skyrim. But anyway, the graphical fidelity between the picture shown of the woman and the actual face of the woman is character model in her face is quite good. It'll be interesting to see whether or not it actually remains that impressive because there's a chance that they some of the graphical fidelity's been dropped between development and release for things like Fallout 4. Bethesda also demonstrated some other new technologies that are going to be using to create the upcoming games. Because they've got this technology they've demonstrated where they scanned in this sort of like crevice, this rock crevice.
Yeah.
Which they can then just put straight into the game. Because they scanned it and it converted it into what I'm going to call computery stuff. And then they can use that computer code juice to then put it into the game. It was just like, I can't listen to this anymore. And it threw itself off the chair. I don't know if that picked up on the mic.
I think it did.
But
All we heard was
something was on one of the chairs.
a blanket was on the chairs.
And as soon as I said computery juice, it threw itself off. I can't hear this anymore. La 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 la. Right, I'll go and get that later on when we're done. So yeah, these games will be interesting to see, but I am obviously scared because Fallout 4, some of its decisions and its bugs were just bad. Like they really impacted the game. I still enjoyed it, but it could have been a bit better. Similarly, there were bugs and things like that in Skyrim, but Skyrim was still fun, and a lot of the bad decisions were fixed because of modding, and that worked quite well. But Fallout 76 was a complete and utter disaster. So if you look at that, the bugs in that game made it unplayable, and the decisions made it so you didn't even want to play it. And so if you look at the progress, I'm kind of worried because these games should be incredible and I'm kind of worried that they won't be. Also, they're heavily moving towards microtransactions and I don't like that.
I know you don't. Not
So,
many people do. Would you want to be scanned into a game?
No, I'd like to be a character that's constantly in a suit of armour.
Why?
So my face can remain a privileged mystery. It depends how much they were paying me for my face.
Negative 200.
I'm not paying for them to steal my face. Anyway.
Do you get like a little bit of money every time that one of those things is sold? Like one of the games is sold because they've used your image?
No, they pay you for the rights to it.
Okay.
But there's strict limitations on it.
Should we move on to Activision?
Yeah, the last story we've got to talk about is pretty small. But it may have large ramifications. It is actually regarding Activision. Well done. How did you guess?
So I can read.
I see there was a flaw in my plan. Activision has added a DLC hammer to Black Ops 4. It's a hammer in the game. I think it's just a weapon that you just go bonk and then they die.
Oh.
Do you know how much they've added this hammer for?
£20?
Yes, you can
roughly
still
around.
Yeah, you can still read, can't you?
Yeah.
That's about $30.
Imagine if you put this entire agenda in like some sort of algorithm, I wouldn't be able to understand.
I could just type it in Scottish, you wouldn't understand.
Pretty much.
This isn't really a microtransaction, is it?
No, I also discovered that there's a book, the Harry Potter book, that is written in Scots.
Gaelic.
No, just like
Scottish.
Yeah.
So £20 for a hammer isn't really a microtransaction.
No, that's like a one-off thing where you know what exactly you're getting.
No, that is still a microtransaction. It's not a loot box.
That's something else.
But it's not a microtransaction to spend £20 on an in-game hammer. That is a macro transaction. You don't know what that is, do you? No. Micro is times by 10 to the negative 6 meters. Macro would probably be...
you've lost me.
Microscopic.
Yeah, I understand it's small.
Bacteria, you cannot see it. It's micro, so you cannot see it with the naked eye, right?
Okay.
Macro means you can.
Okay.
Basically, that's the distinction I'm making there.
Okay.
So it's not a small thing. It's a very large thing. It's not like 60 pence or something. You know, some of the best DLC I got was the DLC for The Force Unleashed 2, Star Wars game. 69 pence. And it was brilliant because you could pick up Ewoks and just boot them. 69 pence for an entire mission in a game which only had like 6 or 7 missions. That's really good.
Yeah.
That's what it should be, not £20 for a hammer. Boop.
Oh.
That's just ridiculous. And as I said, it's not a microtransaction at that point. 20 quid.
It's a lot of money.
Have you ever bought a game more than 20? I think 20
No.
20 quid, that's probably what whoever bought you Master Chief Collection would have been paying.
Alright.
That's what it's worth at the minute, unless you got Game Pass, in which case it's 15. That's like 4 games.
Yeah.
And they want you to buy a hammer.
How are they able to do that?
Because people are idiots. And people buy it.
That's sad.
So
That was creepy.
it is just stupid.
That was super creepy.
They would buy the... It's 2,800 COD points, I think they're called. And unlike in other games which have microtransaction currency, there is no way to actually, from what I understand, to actually earn that in-game. You have to just pay for it.
Right.
So you have to buy this hammer for 20 quid if you want the hammer. I looked up hammers. 20 quid would get you like 3 actual hammers. If you want a claw hammer, it's probably about 20 quid, maybe 30. But if you're talking about just a sledge mallet hammer, which is what this thing is, you could buy 3 of them for that. 3 actual ones, where you could go round to the person's house and actually kill them.
We would not recommend that though.
No, of course not. My point is £20 for a DLC hammer.
It's a lot.
That's disgusting. I mean, there was a time when Call of Duty, all the weapons in the game could be unlocked just by playing the game, playing the multiplayer game. As you ranked up in multiplayer, you unlocked the weapons.
This upsets me greatly that loads of these games you have to pay extra money to unlock things. It's like, well, no, that should be a challenge in a game. You can make it as challenging as you want, but it's very upsetting.
I mean, it actually does make me. You remember I've spoken about this before, the distinction between certain loot box mechanics. Like Halo 5 has loot box, and it really doesn't bother me because you can unlock basically everything by just playing the game.
Mm-hmm.
It's difficult, but you can do it. You don't need to buy all the loot boxes, and you can't actually unlock everything by buying the loot boxes. Sometimes you have to actually do certain things.
Yeah.
Do certain commendations to actually get the certain things which are locked away. I think it's particularly emblems that are locked behind that sort of wall. So you can speed it up by buying it, but you can unlock everything by just playing the game. In fact, you have to play the game to unlock certain things. Whereas this is just a case of, let's take out the stuff and then sell it back to them. I don't like loot boxes, but because I think they're predatory. But I don't see a problem with a loot box that doesn't have money. As long as no real money can be spent on a loot box, I have no problem with it. As long as, for sure, you don't lock progress behind it, like they did with Battlefront 2, I don't have a problem with it. But microtransactions, what people say, let me see what it is I'm buying so I know whether or not it's worth it. Right? I don't see any difference if they're going to sell DLC Hammer for 20 quid. You know, that's sort of what I'm kind of getting at, is that I don't... If loot boxes get replaced with this is...
A bit more outrageous.
Well, it's probably better than loot boxes, but I still think loot boxes are in this game. So... But the point is that loot boxes are predatory because they're gambling. So that's why I don't like loot boxes. But if they're a choice and not a necessity, that's a bit different. If they don't affect the gameplay, that's a bit different. But I still don't like them, and I'd still like to see them removed. I don't mind loot boxes at all, where you earn a currency by playing the game to buy them, and you cannot use actual money. That's absolutely fine. Microtransactions for this... I mean, that sort of price is ridiculous.
Yeah, it is. I just don't understand that. Like, as a concept, I just find that to be so ludicrous.
Why would you actually buy it? That's what I don't understand.
Yeah.
They must be expecting the average player to spend a couple of $1,000.
I would think so, yeah.
And that's just...
But there are people with that kind of money just lying around. There are people where 20 quid is nothing. Yeah. Like 20 quid is like a pound to us.
Yeah.
It wouldn't even be that much. It's like nothing. Like, I think to myself how much I could actually get for 20 pounds in the real world.
Yeah.
That's sad. Should we end it there on a sad note?
No, because there's a bit of a theory here. I would like to know if this is their way of offsetting the loss of Destiny when Bungie walked. Because apparently it's rumoured that it's cost them $400 million a year.
Jeez.
Like, that's how much revenue will have disappeared. So don't know if that's not profit, but even if it is revenue and they've lost some of the expenditure, big companies can't afford to lose revenue, even if they lose the expenditure as well, because they have to be a certain size. They have to be dealing with a certain amount of money. Destiny wasn't a loss-making venture. It wasn't a loss-making IP. It made money. So a lot of that money would have been profit. So $400 million a year. I mean, that's a lot of money you've got to then suddenly rake back in.
Yeah.
So that's where the £20 hammer comes
possibly.
in. You've also got to remember that this comes after they fired 800 people amid restructuring. So this company must be in some sort of financial trouble logically if they're having to fire 800 people, restructure, and they've just lost 400 million in revenue.
Sounds like it.
Personally, I think that's a good thing for EA and Activision to be in trouble, because I hate those two companies.
It might just make them pull up their socks a little bit more and understand that they can't just get away with stuff.
It's possible, because EA was okay for a while, but then it hit 2010s and they went mental. Activision's always been money grubbing, but they're a much bigger company than EA. But for me, the downside is to the developers who would lose their jobs if those companies went bottom up. But it would be a good thing for the industry for those to go, because so much money goes to them and they make such terrible content, such terrible things. They're probably not actually in that much financial trouble. they're probably just wanting to make so much money that they need to do this to make that ridiculous amount of money. But there is also the aspect that they are set up like an upside down triangle. Because they're draining. There's so much greed in what they do that eventually they're going to lose their players.
Yeah, sounds like it.
It cannot last. They can't keep doing what they're doing.
Yeah.
That's the problem. Even if,
I agree, yeah.
Yeah, even if a company like Bethesda moves into this sort of territory, as long as they keep making other games, which are normal games that they can sell, like, Wolfenstein, Doom, just normal, then they've balanced themselves. But when EA and Activision entirely set up their company to just sell microtransaction stuff, when that marketplace, when that falls out, the bottom falls out of that market, they go.
It's not sustainable.
Exactly. Activision are even in a worse place because Destiny, it was something different. The only game they really make now that's big is Call of Duty, and eventually that's a yearly release. That's gonna disappear. Bottom is gonna fall out of that at some point. At some point, it's going to sell like 5% of the previous year, and they are that's it.
Yeah.
They're gonna lose like $1 trillion, and then they'll be done. And the same will happen with EA. You have to remember that EA is the company that led to the whole loot box scandal. I mean, Activision have been doing it for years, but Battlefront was such an egregious mistake. It ripped loot boxes out, thankfully, of everything, because they're going to get banned. Games which add loot boxes now, they're willfully, knowledgeably adding in predatory gambling mechanics. So I'm not happy with it at all.
No, same.
Especially not when they actually lock things behind them that you can only get by spending money. And Activision, they've got the worst. I know this isn't a loot box thing, the DLC Hammer, but they have the worst loot boxes because in Call of Duty World War II, there was a social area. And when you opened a loot box, it fell down in front of you and everybody could see it. And there was actually a mission in the game. I don't know if it was a mission or daily achievement or a commendation or something, where you had to watch a certain number of people open a certain number of loot boxes.
Yeah.
Which is that's basically like, that mission was essentially take heroin 3 times. Here's what and then you get hooked on it. Because these are, watching somebody open a loot box is addictive. You then want to open one. That's what science has shown. So it's like saying, here's your free hit.
Yeah.
But not actually giving them a free hit. You're just watching somebody else get a free hit and then wanting one. It's just, so Activision are really, really bad. So I'd be kind of happy to see this whole thing fall apart. The only downside, of course, is the people who lose their jobs, but I'm kind of hoping they can go and make small companies.
It's quite possibly that some of them are already planning to do that. You never know.
Yeah. If they aren't, they should be, because this will eventually collapse. Because EA just fired 350 people. And Activision fired 800. But they're still paying the guys at the top ridiculous bonuses.
Yeah.
Thoughts?
Yeah, just agree, yeah. That, like I said, it's not a viable business structure to just work off of loot boxes. You need to...
And microtransactions.
Yeah. They need to be providing a decent product, and more than one decent product a year, I would think. Call of Duty's not, I don't think has a big, it used to have a massive following.
Yeah, it's not as big now.
No.
I don't play it anymore. I don't know anybody that does. But my issue with yearly is that a Call of Duty game is released every year, just like FIFA, and they're terrible because of it.
They need to restructure it big time.
They need to start making good games that take time to make. In other words, they actually need they need a workers' revolution in those companies. Because the developers want to make proper good games, but the people at the top won't let them.
Maybe that's Activision's plan, is that they fired 800 people because they knew they were going to be losing Bungie, so they've had to restructure, going, right, we need to make more games, but we can't afford to pay the amount of people that we're paying, and that has to go into the games. Maybe that's why they've had to fire 800 people.
No, because there's nothing on the books.
Okay.
They said themselves that we need to cut all expenditure possible. But they've not putting that money into games. They're just not spending the money.
Right. That's sad.
But I'm kind of hoping that it's drip fed 800, because they each have like 10,000 people working for them. So if they fire 800, 350 a time, that might give those people chances to set up smaller companies, and then they can sort of drip feed it. It's not going to be 25,000 people or something looking for a job immediately.
Yeah.
But those companies have just got to go.
Pretty much.
That's just it. They've built themselves into a way where they just aren't sustainable for a gaming market that any of us want to see.
Which is sad.
Anyway.
Anywho. Are we ending it there?
Yeah. There are no more thoughts.
So I'm going to say thank you for joining us today.
You're welcome.
If you'd like to subscribe to our channel, that'd be fantastic. And if you'd like to hit that like button, that'd be brilliant. And you can hit the ring the bell?
The notification bell, so you can be notified whenever anything happens on Wednesday.
Yes. You can follow us on Facebook at overshadow.shadowcast. And you can email us at overshadow.shadowcast@gmail.com, and we'll leave all the links in the description down below.
And we welcome to any comments.
Yes.
Because Brian was busy this week, so couldn't even comment on the last video.
Would you like to say anything else?
No, you covered it all.
Okay then. Well, goodbye everybody.
Goodbye.